Hey, good afternoon. This is Chuck from Monocoque Metalworks. It's kind of a rainy Monday afternoon. Happy holidays. We had a couple orders for some of our Series 1 tail conversions, and one was a Coupe, one was a Roadster, and I don't know if we're ever going to have a Coupe and a Roadster tail conversion made up and sitting here again, so I thought, you know what, let's do a video. We'll show the pieces and kind of give you an idea of how that works. This is the Roadster tail conversion over here. This is the Coupe tail conversion over here. I'll walk you through the pieces. We'll take a look. Let's start out by talking about the main large license panel. This is the large panel that goes across the back. You're only ever going to see about that much of it. For example, this one's for the Coupe. And there's your Coupe surround there. You can see how this is dished out to go right over that surround. We, of course, take a lot of care to make sure this pressing in here is the exact right shape and feel and depth and all that. This is the Coupe. This is the Roadster. Now, these are both Series 1, so they've got a full square there. If this was for a Series 2 Coupe, this little square piece would only be a half, because the Series 2 kind of cuts in half there. And the whole top is covered. But this is the Coupe, this is the Roadster. Now normally the Coupe would have this same hole that the Roadster has. We don't put it in the Coupes. The factory did, only because they were using the same blank for both pieces. And then on the Coupe, they just put a little plug there. But when I tell you what it's for, you'll realize why we never put it in the Coupes. If you want to be perfect, you can drill it and put a plug in it. This is the Roadster. Now this is correct, factory correct for like a 64 and later. If this was any earlier than that, this plate would not have this hole. But in about 64, they figured out we need a hole there because here is just an old Roadster boot latch piece, and it goes on these little studs that are in there like that. All right, and so here you can see it's latched, and what if your cable breaks? Well, if your cable breaks, you can reach up in this hole, and it's a little tricky. You have to get a screwdriver in there when you do, but what you're going to do is you're going to reach up in there and go, wait a second, and pop it open. So they had to put a hole in there in case the cable breaks. But like I said, it took until about 1964 to figure it out. So that's the main Roadster plate. Of course, it's all perfect, the holes in the side and everything. Brent told me to mention that the earliest cars, 61, 2, 3 build, they don't have this big hole. They have a smaller rounded hole here. The reason this hole is here is for spot welding access at the factory. And I guess they decided they wanted more access. So those are the large license panels. I guess we'll start out with the Coupe. On a Series 2 Coupe, this is what your rear lower tonneau would look like. This was made here by Brent on the English wheel. It's perfect. You've got to have the curve around the hatch correct in this direction and in this direction. If you don't have it right, the hatch will never fit right. This was for a Series 2 Coupe, all right? But this is for a Series 1 Coupe. Now, if you're doing the tail conversion and this piece is all bashed in, which is very common, you might want to just buy this replacement panel. But what we normally tell people to do is just leave this all in place, cut this out. Of course, you're going to cut it about 5/8 of an inch less than what you need, and then you can do some careful hammer and dolly work and just hammer this over, because that's all that's there. See, and then on a Coupe, this fits in here like this, and then they put this together at the factory with the car sitting upright, and if you stick your head under and look under, you'll see a very sloppy little stitch weld in here that's done with a gas welder, just a gas torch and a little piece of filler wire, because they did it in that position. So when you buy the conversion kit, you're going to get all this stuff. Now these are the pieces that go down below the bumper seam. So see, this is the bumper seam right here. And then this goes below there like that. You'll see on the Coupe, it looks like this. You're going to need this filler piece on a Series 2, and then you're also going to need this filler piece. And you can see we have a pattern for these that we use, but we've given you extra material here. There's no sense in cutting it down because you can always use that extra material when you're fitting things, if for nothing else than to put screws in and then cut it away later. So there's those two pieces down there, all right? And then above the bumper seam, you're going to need this tail lamp filler piece. All right, I feel like, you know what, I feel like this would be better if we were over here. You know what? Let's take this stuff. This was not planned, but we're on the fly. Follow me. The lights aren't on over here, so hopefully it's bright enough. Show you how this goes. This goes in here. This is a Series 1 coupe that is under restoration. So this piece has been taken out because it was rusted. This would go in here like this. All right, and what you would do if you had a Series 2 is you would cut it down this far, and this is where you would cut that out and hammer and dolly it over, all right? And then this piece goes in here, and this piece goes in here, and those would be missing on your Series 2, so they go in there like that, all right? And then this is your lower tail lamp filler piece. You can see that goes right there like that. And then your wing will come down like that. You'll just cut this out. All right, let's go back over here. Follow me. We're coming back through here. You can see some of the messier area that we haven't cleaned up. So then, now you've seen where these go. This is a coupe. This is a Roadster. Coupes just fold over like that. Roadsters have this stepped edge with a little piece of chrome here. I don't know why that's the case. So you can see this is an original rear lower tonneau from a Roadster that's under restoration, and it's been partially hammered out and smoothed out, probably do a little more work, and then put this back on the car as an original piece. That goes there like that. All right? Now on a Roadster, you have this piece underneath, which is a support piece. See, you've got your drain holes here. The really early Roadsters have a drain hole in the center. That did not work. They needed them on the outer end. So this piece here has the cutout for the drain holes. This is not the most organized video, but we're going to post it anyway. And you can see now that this has not been cut out. Again, we want you to clamp this in place, and then you can cut this out to perfectly match. All right? So, on a Roadster, you always want to leave this rear lower tonneau, whether it's the coupe or the Roadster, leave it in place if you can, because the fit of your deck lid and your rear hatch is specific to your car, and then it's leaded in. And you don't want to disturb that if you don't have to. So like I said, if you've got a Series 2 coupe, you want to cut out and then hammer and dolly that edge around if you can. On a Roadster, getting this stepped edge for the chrome is a lot harder. And so what we give people are these pieces, and they'll just cut, again, if it was a Series 2, it would be all filled in. They'll just cut that out and then weld in these pieces to put the step on. All right, and there's your tail lamp filler that goes there. Now these are stiffening brackets. Most people don't know they're in there, but they are kind of right in this area. All right, so those are the outer stiffeners, and then this is the inner license piece. See? So on a Roadster, you're using this piece and these two side panels to box in that license area. But on a coupe, it's a lot simpler. I left the piece over there, but it's just that whole window piece that does the sides and the top all in one. So when you buy the conversion kit, you're going to get these pieces here. And excuse me because like I said, I got rid of the coupe window. But you've got your filler pieces for the boot floor and the rear lower valance on both sides. And we Make these in an English wheel. The compound curve is just right. Some other manufacturers do make this and the curve is never there. So you end up building this up with too much filler. You've got to have all the curve you need there. And then you've got these pieces here. We also include the little brackets that go up in here to hold the tail lamps up in there. And then we send emails that have instructions. Now this is a little bit trickier of a conversion, so it's not, this isn't a kit like here's a lawnmower, how you put it together. There's some pictures and there's some blog entries showing us how you do it. It's not really difficult. It's just time consuming. You're going to spend a lot more time positioning this stuff than you will welding it all together. So if you have a Series 2 and you're not happy with the way the tail is, a lot of people aren't. It's not the traditional E-Type tail. It was changed for US regulations about the size of the tail lamp and how far they could be from the back of the car and all of that. So it's not their original idea. It's a compromise to meet those rules. If you don't like that, we can help you take your Series 2 tail, whether it's a Coupe or a Roadster, and bring it right back to Series 1 factory specs. You're just going to dissect the tail of the car down and remove panels until it's neither a Series 1 nor a Series 2. Then you're going to take our Series 1 panels and build it back up as a Series 1. You'll just then use Series stock, off the shelf, Series 1 rear bumpers, overriders, and tail lamps. So if you're looking to do something like that, or if you somehow latched onto a Series 2 shell to restore your Series 1, whatever, we can help. Whatever you want to do with an E-Type, we can help you get there. Thanks for watching.